good afternoon, and welcome back to another session of Galen Eagle's lunch sessions, where we talk everything athletes, school, and Galen University. This afternoon, we have two guests joining us, Karimi Lambert and Briah Clarke, and I'll give them the floor in a short moment to introduce themselves and tell us a bit about who they are, what sport they play, and just their experience at Galen University. But before we do that, I must welcome back my lovely co-host, India Gordon. India, how's the day going?
Hi, it's pretty good. The weather is treating me better than last week. Welcome back, guys, to the second afternoon podcast with Galen Eagle. I hope you guys enjoy what we have in store for you today.
We're going to be talking about Galen Eagles athlete experience on campus. And that's what Karimi and Briah will be shedding light on today. And before we go even further, let's give our guests the floor to introduce themselves. Karimi?
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me, right on Nina. As you've mentioned before, my name is Karimi Lambert. I play basketball here at Galen. I am a senior, so I'm a fourth year. I'm graduating this year. Um, yeah, I play basketball. I play a bit of softball. I've played for the national team, several national selections, and on the semi-pro team from the town that I come from. So, yeah.
Briah?
My name is Briah Clarke. This is my third semester at Galen University. I've been playing basketball my whole life, but my first sport was football, and I've I have made two national teams and represented Belize very well.
Well, welcome you guys. Welcome both to the Galen Athletes podcast session where we talk everything sports, athletics, and Galen. Of course, we are all Soaring Eagles in our own right. I relate to you all so much as you speak about your representation on national teams and national selections, and just what an honor it is to be on national teams. But we want to jump into some of the juicy parts of this conversation from the onset. Firstly, I want to ask you both, what made you choose Galen University?
Well, to me, I find like sport fan, and I mean, I always tell my mom I know want attend no school in Belize, like I want to go elsewhere. And during my search for university, I'm just say Galen, and I like something about Galen make I just want go there.
Currently?
Um, Yeah, I guess I could say the same. So when I graduated with my associates, it was in the heart of COVID. I'm one of the COVID babies, as we say. Um, I was just, I guess, looking for options. Um, and like Bria said, Galen just about to me. They offered the athletic scholarships, and I did pretty well in them. So that's how I ended up here.
And just to get a bit of um, in-depth understanding of who you both are, Karimi, you said you're studying
I am an environmental science major.
environmental science.
That was another I guess another key point to why I chose Galen. Galen's the only school that offers environmental science in the country. Well, as a bachelor's degree, every other school has as an associate or has something tied to marine management or natural resource management, that type of stuff. So only Galen offers the environmental science as a major. So it's another reason I chose Galen.
You, Briah?
And me and Kareem take the same major environmental science.
Okay. So we have some future environmental policy analysts and some future climatologists, possibly, who knows, paleontologists. But I saw your interview this morning, Karima. I was listening a bit. Um, a lot of good stuff coming out from Galen University for sure. Now let's move into the athletics conversation, because a lot of times people have this notion that once you're an athlete, you can't perform in the classroom or you know the perform at the par. What you guys have to say about that?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty sad to say that along the lines, or I guess in the past, athletes haven't been known to be performers in classroom. No, Galen does a lot to change that, and I'm really happy about that. But you kind of have to do it yourself, and a lot of the times these athletes they only focus on their sport, focus on being an athlete, completely disregarding the other side of life. You know, a student kind of have to be both a student and an athlete. Hence the term student athlete. Yeah, so and I feel like a lot of organizations are they're trying to do more with their at least in terms of putting them in a school, putting them in a school system. I know that the volleyball federation does a lot for their students that are athletes. The basketball federation is starting to. I think football does as well when they go to their camps. They have to do school alongside their actual actual workout. So it's a work in progress, but where athletes are known for just being athletes.
Briah, what do you have to say about those people who say that don't necessarily perform in the classroom?
Well, I just feel like you have to find a balance because the student athlete, they're always a student before athlete, and I feel like growing up and to be the basketball star, like I noticed that if you're an athlete and if you feel like it no matter today because you make the school look good, but no that Galen now they take pride in the student they perform on and off the court, and that really good. And
I absolutely agree. I definitely felt that when I was a student at Galen University, and you have to maintain your grades if you want to keep your scholarship, right? So that's also another huge aspect of it. Um, Tell us a bit about your Galen experience, Karimi. What has that been like thus far in terms of how the school has been able to accommodate your athletic um, mandates as well as ensuring that you stay up to par with your academics?
Man, I just had a conversation with with one of the supervisors, Mr. Owen, who's also the driver, and I explained that since I'm graduating, leaving Galen will be bittersweet. Um, this school has probably done the most for me in terms of allowing me to still be the athlete that I am, along with pushing me to do well in my education. Mhm. Uh, the first thing that I would say is Galen pays a lot of attention to your not I won't say your personal life, but what you do outside of school to an extent.
Mhm.
Most of my teachers know that I play senior pro, and so we have games Friday and Saturday, and they're a bit I would say lenient, but they're understanding when it comes to me having to play, um, having to maybe submit something a little late, or there's a compromise, right? And then when basketball season was here some months back in January, late January, early February. We had that week. So I'm sorry, so we had the week of games, and then we had like 3 weeks before that was intense workout. A lot of the times I would be tired. A lot of the times my workouts may be around class time, and like I said, I was given that kind of leg room to move around, to go to practice, to go to class, to attend these games, and yeah. So Galen caters a lot to me being an athlete, and that's one thing that I really appreciate about the school.
Where how have the university accommodated your athletic mandates?
I agree with everything Karimi said because like Karimi he plays semi pro and in I believe like they don't really have a league for females, but my teachers they know that I work out daily, sometimes 2 times a day, and I would have explained to them like I tell and things, and they would have find ways around it so we could still accomplish the goal, which is that we pass with a high GPA. And I feel like that this are the only school where really care about you, you to be an athlete and also in performing a class.
In terms of the way how you guys go about your everyday life, um, I'm getting a bit intrusive now because I love to hear about people's everyday experience as athletes and students because I want to understand if I was the only person who endured the level of sacrifice that I had to put out there in order to achieve what I achieved. But in terms of your daily regimen, what does that look like, Karimi?
So I guess I'll just go on a limb and say volleyball is way much more serious in the country, or has way much more structure in the country than basketball. However, I do try to do my own individual workouts. And depending on the day, depending on my class, that would include me being at the gym, like Briah said, twice a day, in the mornings for my personal workout, and whether it be with my team or with a set of guys in the later evenings. Class time has disrupted that a bit. Um, However, like I said, I um kind of find some leg room, whether it be before my class or after my class. Lots of times I go to class tired, but um, yeah. So if I can, it's twice a day. If not, it's once a day. If it's a day where I have to go to school, then it's no times for the day.
Yeah,
And same,
same
like,
thing can do as well.
when I used to work out 2 times a day, like when I would have go home after gym during the morning, I would have just contact my teachers and try to get my work done. And when I go play basketball at night or what's not. Sometimes like Karim say you get a class tired, but I've like when you if you would have communicate with your teacher, like they would have make sure you the top of your class.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. Karim mentioned that sometimes he goes to class tired, and I just want to ask both Karim and Bria, how do you guys think that mindset um, to keep yourselves grounded in that school is as important as your athletic life?
Well,
Okay. Got you.
sometimes when I go to that class tired, I just think about that I was a student before anything. I have to this done at the end of the day, and I live on a scholarship at the end of the day. People would have paid to get that scholarship, or athletic scholarship for go to Galen, and I just feel like I can't take it for granted.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's pretty hard, but like Bria said, we were given a task, we were given a privilege, and kind of want to do your best to achieve that privilege. Lots of times, it is discipline over motivation. Right, half the time I'm not even motivated to go to class. I kind of have to stay disciplined, and at the end of the day, get the work done, regardless of your mindset, regardless of how bad you feel, how tired you may be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get it done.
I wanna play a little game right now since I'm with two environmental science majors, and this is just off the bat thinking. Um, we know that one of the biggest issues, and this is me challenging my athletes now as well, on their academic side, just testing your pulse a bit. We know that we're in a situation where we're battling a climate crisis. What do you think, as environmental science majors, are the biggest contributors to this crisis that we're facing?
So in terms of climate change, right?
Right.
Okay, so we kind of first have to understand that climate change is normal. The climate does change over time. However, we are accelerating climate change. So I guess the primary response would be for us to mitigate the the drivers of climate change. We do know that the drivers of climate change are greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are emitted by the burning of fossil fuels, by using GFGs and all of that. So the primary goal is to find ways outside of that. We'll go to renewable energy, using solar panels more. Belize is hot. Belize been hot, so kind of like use solar panels, divert wind energy if possible, hydrothermal energy, hydro energy. So nothing that uses combustion, which is combustion causes the gas. So we kind of want to limit that. So that would be like the primary goal is. It's pretty hard. renewable energy. The startup is expensive, however, it is beneficial in the longer run.
In the, I don't know about you, but that guy has spoken like a true eagle.
Much from this morning talk show, I was listening to him.
Karim said, what's your take to that?
Like I agree with everything what Karim said. I just feel like we have to have a new routine, like what he mentioned, because fossil fuels and things like try find ways around it. Like it might feel weird now, but eventually we are.
Yeah, you know. I, I agree with both of you what you said. I mean, we know that this climate crisis and since we're on this topic, it's inextricably tied to everything that we do and everything that we see every day. The weather that we're feeling right now, the temperature. Karimi taking a sip of water is because of the extreme heat and humidity and the gases being trapped in our atmosphere, increasing temperatures. We just expect a more intense hurricane season. All of these things are interconnected. How our economy bounces back from the loss and damages of Hurricane Lisa. You know, everything is inextricably tied together. But one of the reasons I brought this topic up is because we tend to not see sports as a mean to develop countries and develop people, develop citizenry. And essentially, what I just did with that little short, um, I guess, test, if you like, is to show that through the athletic scholarships that you all were provided, you all are also being educated to higher your level of education through these scholarship opportunities. And I'd like to get your take about the importance of these type of scholarships for young athletes like yourselves. Karimi?
Yeah, so education is really expensive. Galen is no cheap school. I feel like education worldwide is really expensive. So as a young person, any means that could get you an education, should be explored. Um, the athletic scholarships are. I'm not sure if there's something new, but they're, I guess, generally foreign in Belize. And I think that's a avenue we need to explore more. A lot of these kids, a lot of these people my age, they want a chance to go. They want to go to school. They want to excel. Um, they may not have the resources to do so, but they are gifted in other avenues, arts, sports, um, creative writing, and so all of that. I feel like it's very important for young people to get an avenue into education. So these scholarships and other assisted scholarships geared towards having a gift or a talent is really, really important. I think they're way much more needed.
What would you say is one moment that you've experienced on campus that has changed your mindset? This opportunity that you're presented with, what one experience on campus has changed your mindset in your time at Galen University?
So like in my first semester, when I'm when I'm start, I mean free like to communicate with my teachers and tell them, oh, I work out and this and that. And then they may have a day where I'm just like overwhelmed with work and I'm gonna talk to the counselor, and for then I realize that teachers are giving really want the best for you. Not only academically but for you yourself.
Have you Kareem, what was that one moment that significantly shifted, I guess, your perspective and outlook on not just education, but your experience in your journey?
Um, I've had a couple, so kind of try to find the best one. I So because the school is very, very small, I feel like the teachers, the faculty, the staff, everybody looks out for you way much more than other schools with maybe bigger populations. I feel like everybody in the desk office knows me and everybody kind of knows either me, my name, or the fact that I've done the basketball game, or something important and relevant about me. So just knowing that on the whole kind of gives me a sense of belonging, and it's that since I started playing basketball there again. So I think that on the whole was probably my most memorable moment, or something I would change.
I know that India has a game prepared for us, and I'd like for her to uplift with spirit and leave it with this game as well, because I honestly don't know what the game about, but India will explain to me how we play this game, and we kind of want to make this be like an icebreaker for moving to the next part of the conversation. So India, you have the floor.
Definitely. Okay, guys. So the game is basically we're building a storyline using just letters. So, and we have to deal with this game with a bit of speed. So you guys can just leave your mics unmuted. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a letter, and the way that it's going is Karimi and then Briah and then Brighton back to Karimi, Briah and Brighton. That's the way. Okay. So I'm going to start saying an incomplete sentence, and Karimi will jump on with the letter he sees and build a story. Okay. So I wish I was there yesterday because I wanted.
uh, Beach. I wanted the beach, and I was at the beach for a bit, and then
Hmm. And then Jennifer came and we went to.
And then Jennifer came and we went to the park for some ice cream.
that we side of the beach.
Okay.
My mom was there.
Marima was there also.
And India was there, and we all walked together home.
The end. Good job, guys. So Karimi made it with Brianna, and I somehow end up there.
Yep.
India very put a spin on this game as well.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Oh my God.
Right. You have to say something related to your Galen experience on campus as an athlete with the same letters.
Okay. So that's
So,
you, right?
right. So I want to start the incomplete sentence.
All right. Got it.
I am a student at Galen University playing sports and
Basketball. I also played softball, but we did not play that this semester.
Okay. Next. Yeah.
Here, right? Just as I came on campus, I took basketball more serious.
This is a tough one. Um, people are always attentive and healing.
Sustainable. Or like
go after you.
was gonna say sustainable development. It's one of the subjects that we're all required to take at Galen.
So one of the subjects.
Man. Bryson, you want to jump on this one?
It's you right.
What game got you the cat off?
My one game got messed up.
Karim is good at sustainable development and math.
On algebra.
Well, not a bad icebreaker at all.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Thank you for that game, India.
Um,
Definitely a good one. I have one more for we play, but we are playing that towards the end of the conversation. Um, but diving back into your experiences as Galen student athletes, um, share with us a bit of what your daily workout routine would look like, Karimi and Briah.
Okay, so we're both student athletes. I like I mentioned before, if I'm able to, I do 2 workouts a day. It's not I limited to one, and if I'm at campus, then I don't work out at all. So I would hit the gym at either 9 or 10. I would be there for 2 hours. I would then come home, do as much work as I can, rest a bit because I have my other workout at 6 or 7 p.m. depending on the type of workout. Be back home at 7. Well, from 5 to 6 or from 6 to 7. I'll be back home and then I have class from 6 or from 7 onwards. If I go to school, then I'll be at school for the entire day. I get back at 5 and then I have workout at maybe 7 or 8. Again, depending on the type of workout. So everything kind of revolves around school. When I'm not doing schoolwork, when I'm not in class, I kind of fit sessions to my personal workout in between.
You, Briah?
And see, like for me, if I would go to school, when I reach long back like 3, I would have put a gym for 4 to 5, and then do my classes in the night. And if I not for go to school, I go to gym in the morning like 7, come home 9, eat just as much schoolwork as I could, sleep, get up back, work out, and back and home, back to class.
I want to get into more of the nitty gritty of being an athlete because I think we will get there slowly, but I want to have all the layers of the onion of being an athlete. So a lot of times when we go to workout and then we have certain workouts, so we do. I know you have some drills that you like do, you probably could share. And as well the drills you like do. So how about we dive into what are some of the things that where you actually like do when you go to your workout as opposed to some of the things that where you not like? Karimi?
Okay, so we're coached by Coach Tar, the athletics director at school. He kind of has a strict regimen, depending on how close a game is and what he allows us to do. I think my favorite drill would be our one more drill. It's a 3-man drill, and in fact, it involves the entire team, but it's three people are on the court at the same time, and you kind of work on passing, dribbling. Most importantly, shooting. I like to shoot the ball, so that drill helps me to work with that. Um, I also enjoy the Kansas drill. But what I hate is when he gets upset with us and we're either doing suicide or a 16-on-1. Just when you run from width to width of the court 16 times in under a minute. And if you don't make that quota, you have to do it again. So it's kind of beautiful.
I could tell you appreciate that in a couple more years.
Yeah. No, I think I appreciate. I already know the benefits of it. I just dislike doing it as a form of punishment.
Right. And you, Bria, what are some of those drills that you really like and despise?
Well, like what Karim said, I love the one over here. As I love shoot and that focus on everything. Pass, the dribble, the rebound, shoot. I also like the fast break drill, but I don't see it run, especially the sprint, the sides. I just not like that.
Well, in that, I know you're a volleyball player as well. What's one of those drills that you don't like, and what's one of those drills that you do like?
A drill that I love. I don't have one, but if it entails passing or defending, you could count me in on doing it. That's those types of drills are my complete favorite.
So you tell me the attacking, you don't like 6'5"?
Oh my gosh, why you shame me like that, Brandon? But yes, I do like attacking as well, but passing, I would prefer passing
Yeah.
and defending. And a drill that I don't like. Hmm. I don't think it's just it's drills, but it's basically development stuff like running, like Karim said,
And I totally agree with you on that.
is running and you Brighton.
I totally agree. I despise drills that focuses too much on fundamentals. Like I I see the need for it, but man, when trust me, when you reach a certain level in your sport, you really now have to, I don't want to say drop your level, but you know I have to do the fundamentals like every practice, or you just want to get into more complex drills. And I think for me, when I spend too much time on the drills they way that just focus on the fundamentals and the technicalities, um, that now one time I just start to check out, and that's the biggest thing for me for ensure that I stay mentally engaged in the drills because it's easy to check out in a fundamental drills, especially when the drill boring, right? So I guess that's my experience with that. Um, but tell us a bit about some of we're shifting now into the academic side, Karimi and Briah. Tell us about one of those moments where you felt like you learned something significantly different than you have been predisposed to. What's one of those things where you had like one aha moment where it really just like change your mindset about the field that you're studying in, Karimi?
Most recently was my trip. That's the most recent eye opener that I've had. So for those of you who didn't know, I was in England for a week and a half discussing paleoecology, a relatively new science of the country, which involves you reconstructing the environment at a certain point in time. One thing that I found significant was um, the fact that it requires an integrated, I guess, approach to it. So yes, I'm an environmental science major. However, and I would focus on one specific area of the environment. With the data that I would get, it wouldn't be much it wouldn't be as much use if other people didn't get the same results. So everything was integrated. Everything is integrated to the point where you kind of have several different scientists looking at several different portions of the data to kind of certify it, right? Mm-hmm. So the professor that we looked at, she studied pollen grains. So the pollen from plants, and these pollen grains will tell you X amount of information, right? You can't really depend on that alone. So you have another scientist telling you another piece of information. And when you realize two informations they coincide, you say, oh, all right. So there's a degree of certainty with that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was just exposed to a new science which hundreds of people all over the world study, which I had no idea of before. So that was my experience.
And that's also another huge opportunity coming through the university as well, eh?
Right, yeah. So I was given the opportunity through Galen, by Galen to partner with a university from from Newcastle, from Northumbria University.
Briah, what's one of those moments?
So when I'm at sustainable development, my first year, cause through my whole like school, like I never really exposed to that teach me about different ways you go conserve water, light, and make your electricity bill go down. And I remember how we had a go green project, and whereby you had to like do something to help the environment and the conservation of water, like home, no like home, we like left the TV plug in. Worse if we would use it and the fan there, like simple things like when like they was there and nobody outside was still there, hold it and things like that.
I'm intrigued to hear your response to this as well. Even though you're my lovely co-host, I still want to hear your experience as my anthropology major. I mean, that's what I majored as well.
Okay, no problem. I think my aha moment would have been in my second year at Galen. It was in an anthropology class, and we were using information that we got from the first semester that I joined Galen to basically build on what we're learning now. And then like I kind of forget some of the stuff I was taught, and then I had to snap back into it and say, I can't sleep like that. I have to continue bringing along the information that I have that I've learned to continue build on it. I can't just forget that piece because you have to start all over again. So that's my aha moment.
Nice, nice. Well, I think you all covered in depth exactly what some of those experiential moments were, and what your experiences are thus far in Galen at Galen University as athletes and as academics. I think if I could share my one, India, it's I guess understanding the complexity of anthropology and that everything basically has some anthropological um, I guess correlation, if I could say that word, because as humans, we tend to get our hands on everything and we look at human pattern behavior and we look at the various structures and systems that we operate by, then we know that there's a bit of anthropology in everything, whether it's economics, whether it's environmental science, whether it's society, whether it's politics. Um, Pattern behavior is a part of that. And so you could always explain stuff from a behavioral perspective, looking at cultural, the biological, and the physical. You look at the social aspect as well as linguistics, the way how we speak, why we speak that certain way. All of those things have anthropological um, correlations. So I want to move into this next segment of this conversation where we look at. Um, but before I get there, let's jump into this speed game. It's called the speed game. You just pick one, right? So I'm gonna say either, and you pick one of those, just for us to pick your brain a bit and get a better understanding on who you are as a person and where you fall. So I want to start off with the most common one, and you could turn your mics on, both Karimi and Briah, and just say your answer out loud. So, Kobe Bryant or Shaquille O'Neal?
Kobe.
Shaquille.
That's an unorthodox answer, Karimi. Usually everybody go with Kobe Bryant. Why
Yeah.
Shaq?
So I guess it's my style of play. I'm more related to a big man, even though I'm only 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
I just like it down under it, Kobe was about the finesse, the getting shots, that type of stuff. I will grab the rebound. I will be the one to block the shot. I will be the rim presence. That's why. So I chose shot.
Next one, Venus or Serena?
Serena.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Djokovic or Federer?
Djokovic.
Djokovic.
Man, I just like Federer. I guess Federer to get to all now. Next one, softball or basketball? And this is not for Karimi.
Basketball for sure. I started off with softball, but I grew, so it's basketball.
Basketball or football, Bria?
Basket. I don't like run. I can't run for a field. I get tired.
Biking or riding?
Hiking.
Red.
Um, Swimming or running?
Swim.
Swim. Swimming.
Well,
Swimming is a better workout, so.
I have to add that one to my list, India. Maybe I need to go buy one pool where the current the push against us, so you can swim against it.
Yeah. Oh, tired body.
Pizza or ice cream?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Okay, well I guess none of the people there so they know really want to go to the park go get ice cream that our game will play. But okay guys, I want for you all to share a bit as student athletes for other young people who are out there watching. Just express a bit about your experience, and what would you tell these young people who are trying to make the next step in furthering their education using their athletic ability? Karimi?
Okay, so I know we generally have this mentality that sports wouldn't take you, you know, sports only takes you so far in the country, and that is true to an extent. However, I'm not the best athlete, right? I'm a good athlete, but I'm not the best athlete, and I've still been given this opportunity. So I'd like to push everybody to give it a try because you never know who's paying attention, you never know who's watching you, you never know what you could gain from it. Um, so do the best you can in whatever sport you excel in, but make sure that you pay attention to the academical side. Like,
Yeah.
in order for you to have gotten this scholarship, you have to be a bit over average with your academics. So you can't really rely on just you being an athlete, being a stellar athlete. Because being a good athlete will only take you so far. And then in the leagues, it's way less than you would think. There are opportunities elsewhere, with the advent of technology and whatnot.
Right.
But still give it a try.
And your Briah, what would be your message to those young people?
Well, for me, I could say like, especially if you're a female who play sports where you try to make it, especially in a basketball, you know that, say, you're barely any female get basketball scholarship to say go away. Especially in basketball, because the female, like, we know, take it serious. Don't stay disciplined. No give up. When you're in the gym or whatsoever, no give up. But sure, academically they're better, but just discipline.
Right, right. And I can't end this podcast, India, without asking this one question. Um, and I think I don't know what will be the answer with Karimi and Briah gave if they may already meet this person or encounter this person, a course or two. But which professor from Galen University, that one professor when you make sure that you buckled up for when you step into their classroom?
That's, Mr. Zatina.
The answer is Mr. Zetina. You, Karimi?
I'll go with Miss Swayze. Miss Denise Swayze.
Okay. I know Miss Swayze very well. She used to be my colleague. So I know for sure you have to get your T's crossed and your I's done.
I have to pay special attention when I'm doing anything related to the her class. So yeah.
Well, I will definitely relay that message to Miss Swayze for sure. Who was yours, India?
I would say Dr. Laskat.
Boom. I think that the answer with them I give, But
Dr. Laskat.
that was actually mine. I know my experience when I just started dealing back in 2014. No, I said just like that just yesterday, but back in 2014 when I started and I walked into Dr. Lascott's class 3 weeks late, because I had traveled out of the country for national team. I started and I submitted my first paper and she said, Mr. Cat, come. She said, this won't fly in my class. You need to stop over in front of everybody. And so I think from then, that's the one professor whose class I always made sure that I had everything intact for. Like, I make sure that everything was well done. But certainly good to hear y'all's experience. Um, I certainly wish you all the best with your endeavors going forward and continue to inspire young athletes coming behind who are seeking opportunities. Reach out to those people, motivate them, and continue to be inspirations in your own way. One of the things I always tell young people, even if you're not the best or you don't think you're the best at a certain sport, strive to be authentic with your sport, and that's really and truly what will separate you from others. Being authentic always makes you stand out. So, India, any parting words, India?
Well, I hope the younger audience or whoever is watching want to or ever thinking about getting further in their education, just to go for it, to use your gifts, whether it be sports, academics, or creativity. Just use that to further your education, guys.
Currently, any parting words from you?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation. And like India said, there are avenues out there, guys. So explore everyone. And if sports is your avenue, then do the best you for that you're for.
And Briah?
My advice would be yourself. No, try wanna be nobody else because God give everybody a gift and just
Right, right. I'll close off this session by saying, keep at it, Karimi and Briah, future environmentalists. If that's the area you want to continue in after, there's certainly a lot of need for more people with environmental science background. I see every single day where there are certain gaps that we need to fill within the government sector, as well as the consultancy sector, as well with environmental policy and environmental science. Um, so certainly stick with it. It's the way of the future because if we look at the conversations happening globally right now, it's around how do we um, limit ourselves from moving above 1.5 degrees Celsius increase to ensure that the sustainability of human lives is the priority. And how do we continue to push our efforts forward as a people to ensure that we continue to see Anthropocene thrive and not necessarily end in the next we don't know how many years because of this climate crisis. So keep at it. There's an avenue for you all for sure in this field, and there's a lot of different areas that you could spread out into within the field itself. So keep at it, guys, and thank you for joining us this afternoon for this conversation. Join us next week again as we tune back in with some other guests, some other soaring eagles from Galen University or their athletes who continue to excel in their craft. And yeah, India, we will be back next week with another afternoon athletic talk session, our very own Galen Eagles podcast. Galen Eagles, we just always excel. And with that, we're out.